All right, so some of you guys might have saw this come in from a previous video. I encourage you guys to really try something new in 2024. And this topic I'm getting into is something I've already been kind of experimenting with. Certainly I did it in the past, but recently, I'd say since September, I've really been trying to kind of dabble in this, dip my toes back into this territory again. And of course, I'm talking about high intensity training. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, high intensity training is a very old classical, relatively classical at this point, bodybuilding technique whereby you're using basically going one set, ultimately one set. Some people do a little bit more than that, but one set to ultimate positive voluntary muscle failure in a given set. Some people incorporate things like forced reps. There's all sorts of subtleties in the high intensity training camp. And this certainly had a resurgence, I'd say in the last 3 years. I was definitely aware of it. I saw all the Mike Menser stuff coming in my feed constantly. Of course, X3 was another thing. Not that they're really high intensity, but I guess maybe they kind of are, but they're a program that incorporates doing one set. And so I was kind of initially resistant to this because I wasn't really sure. One, it wasn't really my style. I certainly dabbled it in the past, or at least ventured into it a little bit. If you guys are familiar with high intensity training, of course, it is lower frequency in training. I personally saw in my personal physique and benefit better kind of physique changes doing higher volume, at least more times per week early on when I first started working out. I'd say in my early 20s. Certainly I started in high school, but then in my early 20s, that's when I really started to see my physique really change, is when I really put a lot more effort in the gym. And that's where I think some of this stuff can be kind of semantical, because I think the idea of going to all out intensity in one set, giving it your all, certainly can be comparable to what I did in the Total Gym channel, this the Sliding Bench training channel here, which is showing you guys in 3 years, I got same kind of hypertrophy-based benefits, and certainly there's probably some genetics in there, doing more lower intensity, higher volume, higher repetition stuff, showing you guys that both things essentially work. And I kind of made a previous video talking about this, and I've certainly alluded to it in past videos. I do think both modes essentially work, but what I want to get into here is basically, again, me kind of experimenting with some things, kind of sharing it with you on the channel. Wasn't sure if it was really necessary, but I know some of you guys are really into it. And again, I didn't want to just like jump on the bandwagon, but I know a lot of you guys on the channel are very interested into high intensity training. A lot of you guys are doing high intensity training on a Total Gym, so I know that's also pretty relevant to some of you guys, and I certainly can show you guys some more of that in future videos. You guys can see some other guests on there. But the real rationale of why I wanted to kind of try this really was just to try something new, honestly. Basically kind of going against the paradigm that I normally do, which is a little bit more sets, I would say. Not like tons and tons of exercise per body part, but definitely more sets, going more intuitive. I'm also logging stuff a little more specifically, and I'll certainly share the progress as we kind of go along here, because I'm seeing some positives for sure. There's also some negatives. I think there's definitely pros and cons to each camp. And even when I was kind of dusting off or looking at some old high intensity books that I had, my kid said something funny. He was looking at me. He's like, "What is this type of training?" And I was explaining it to him. And I was saying like, well, this is so-and-so, you kind of train a little bit. I was talking about Arthur Jones. Like, he kind of encouraged you just train a little bit. You go all to failure. You don't have to be in the gym so much. And my kid jokingly said, "Oh, that's great. You can spend more time with us," which of course made me feel bad, because I don't think I'm really neglecting them too much. But that's a good point. I think the idea is one of the benefits of high intensity training, especially if those of you guys are limited on time. I know it's a big thing I hear in the comment section, especially the Total Gym or anything with home fitness equipment, is especially the X3 too, is that a lot of you guys are trying to find modes of exercise that save you guys time for whatever it is, especially with like loved ones. I see like a lot of new fathers and stuff jump on and say these things too. So that's relevant. So if you can save time in some areas, in some form of training, I think that's a good thing. On the converse end though, I personally do love being in the gym. It's therapeutic. I think there is some benefit to just moving your body daily, even if there's some subtle resistance. It doesn't have to be totally high intense by nature, going to all out failure. And maybe the idea of failure we can get into in a later date as well. But certainly, yeah, the idea of time saving elements to it, and that's been a thing for me. I've kind of shared that in recent months, especially as I'm reviewing and trying out other things, which is kind of the hard thing with kind of sticking to a program recently, is that I don't have a whole lot of time. So if I can shave some time a little bit in the gym, that's always going to be kind of a win. But like I said at the start, this was definitely something I've tried in my past. I was a huge Dorian Yates fan when I was younger. I had two of his books. I forgot the one book that was like more of a biography. I had his Blood and Guts training book, which was all about high intensity training. Had his DVDs. I know I definitely tried it, but I probably didn't really give it, again, a fair shake. I think I alluded to that in the John Hart video, who is another high intensity person I interviewed in the channel. So check that out. So it's something that I feel like might well, just for the sake of it, try something new, and again, try it again to see what happens. I actually wish I had those Dorian Yates books. I know they're worth a lot of money, but I ended up selling those on eBay many, many years ago. Now, I'm not expecting anything totally dramatic from this. I think where I'm kind of at as far as like what my body's capable of is kind of more or less established, but we'll definitely see, so I'll let you guys know of that. I think there are definitely, as I said in previous videos, benefits of higher volume, higher frequency workouts or high intensity, low frequency workouts. Kind of fits your purpose and kind of your body type, I'd say, in the grand scheme of things. And no, this is not going to turn into a HIIT channel. Of course, if something does dramatically happen, I really like it, you never know. But on this channel, I just share with you guys kind of some things I'm trying. I thought at the very least, I'd share this with you guys, ask you guys questions. You think I should keep trying this? You guys got any tips and feedback, let me know. And a lot of this, I'd say a big part of it too, is getting in extra equipment. Now that I have extra stuff and tools to play with, I think it does kind of warrant itself to this style of training. Of course, though, you could do it on a total gym as well, but you're gonna see different apparatuses kind of maximized. In fact, one future video I might talk about is expedience and how if you are someone who's into kind of high intensity based training, I think you guys would really love expedience or an e-gym. But all sorts of stuff here you guys can take advantage of. Hopefully you guys stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. I got some cool guests along the lines of this you guys will see in the near future. If you guys got any questions, comments, feedback about this, let me know and I'll see you guys on the next video.